Good morning, all, and welcome. There are some people coming in, so let's just wait a little bit. So even Agatha is here also. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hello. So let's start our webinar. We are waiting for Nelson, that is another speaker, but he's joining us in the waiting room. So welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us in this second webinar of our European network, Future STEAM City. So after our first webinar, where we talk about what could be beyond STEAM education and how can we imagine the future of STEAM education, we are now making a webinar related also to one of the most provoking questions related to the STEAM education, that is why the A of arts in STEAM, and what is not only necessary, but or it is not only very important, but also very necessary. So in this webinar, we will our speakers will share what this represents, the A of arts, because for some could be related to arts or creativity or problem solving, critical thinking. So this webinar is to bring several ideas and open-minded from our speakers in the way that we can reflect about the STEAM education and explore new perspectives surrounding this thematic. And after these amazing and inspirational speakers, we will have the chance also to share among our participants what are their also ideas related to this, what can they imagine, and how can we look to the local context of our cities, and how can we draw the future also related to the STEAM education. Thank you all. And now let's start our webinar with a brief question to make us already think.
So thank you very much, Carla. I'm Monica Nagore. I'm the lead expert of the network. I'm supporting the network to exchange the learning between cities. And before diving into today's conversation with these amazing speakers we have, we would love to get a sense of what brings you all here today to the room. You'll see a question on your screen. And so please take a moment to write a few words, whatever speaks to you. There's no right or wrong answer. Just let's look at the range of motivations we have in the group today.
And other questions? Oh, okay. Now it's going directly to the question, right? Using the QR code. Everyone is able to answer?
No.
No.
It says there's
No.
no voting
It
now.
says that there's no voting.
votes.
Yes.
Let's do it on the
Progress.
chat. You can do it on the chat. So take a moment to write on the chat just a few words about what brought you here. We can do it the old way. So see.
Can you check now? I believe there was some setting off.
Phone now. Oh yes, now it's working. Well,
Yes.
use
Can
whatever you
put
want. You
share
can use
again,
both.
Anna?
Yes.
What are you doing here? Okay. And then you can share the results, right? In the screen.
Yeah, we are seeing them. I am here to share his perspective from STEAM. So this is Nelson, one of our speakers. looking forward to being inspired by you all. This is me. Interested in STEM. How can art feature fully STEM?
Mhm.
I need to recognize the necessity of A in STEM. So learn.
Yes.
Loads of learning appetite, which is really good. Okay, so we're gonna move now to the round of speakers.
Okay, so I will stop sharing our presentation so the speaker can share their own.
So yes, we have our first speaker.
That is Joanna.
That is Joanna. Yes, I think it's Agatha Albosi is going to introduce her.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. Can you say just two words about who you are and why you are introducing Joanna?
Well, I'm one of the project partners. I'm from the city of Płock, and we joined the Future STEAM Cities because we wanted to create and to start STEAM revolution in our city, and we are learning from our partners. And hopefully we are going to get more inspiration and knowledge today from all the speakers. So it is a great pleasure for me to introduce Joanna, who represents the Mazowian Museum of Płock. She's one of our most dedicated ULG members. Always full of brilliant creative ideas and not afraid to introduce significant changes and also eager to add A to all STEAM fields. So I'm sure that you will enjoy the presentation and you will feel happy and inspired after she's finished. So enjoy.
Thank you.
So Joanna, you can go ahead with your presentation. We cannot hear you. Can we move to the next speaker while we try to sort this technical issue?
It's Franz.
Fran, yes. So I'm going to introduce Fran. I know him for a while now. It's really a pleasure to have him here. Fran is going to bring a rich perspective at the intersection of creativity, technology, and cultural innovation. He's going to bring a lens that speaks directly to our exploration of the A in STEAM and the power of this A to reshape how we can learn, collaborate, and imagine the future. He's the general manager of Epica Foundation of La Fura dels Baus, and he's been there for more than 20 years of experience in innovation and technology. He's been working with different research institutions and also public cultural institutions such as the Institute of Culture in the Municipality of Barcelona. So he has experience in the public sector as well, always dedicated to applying technology and scientific knowledge to the cultural and creative industries and vice versa. So he insists on that. The vice versa, it's important. He's not only promoting its developments, but also the connection between all these important subjects. He has led initiatives as European Performing Science Night, participated in polyvocal creation projects, such as the EU Collective Place, and he's currently involved in the SCENE EU-funded project which aims to promote the European filmmaking industry. So his work demonstrates how artistic methodologies can open new pathways for experimentation, innovation, and collective meaning making. So really looking forward to, we can't wait to hear your perspective in today's gathering, Fran. Thank you very much for being here.
Pleasure.
Go ahead. You can share your slides. your own on your own if you want.
I'm trying to, so
Yeah, thank you.
I just let me know if you see my slides.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, fine.
Yes. Okay, so let me try to put it in presentation mode. Yeah. So thank you, Nagore, and everybody, and especially colleagues invite us. It's really a pleasure. Let me see. What's that? Wow. You see my slides? That's okay. So I am Fran, as I thought. I'm working a lot with this of trying to connect humanities, art, science, and technology for a while. Let me start from the beginning. I'm the general manager of the EPICA Foundation, La Fura dels Baus. Maybe you know La Fura dels Baus, but we see a timer. Me too. Should be the other way. So let me go for that. Okay, now better. Yeah, let's see like this. The idea is that we set up a foundation 7 years ago with this idea of focusing on STEAM. I mean, go back to the basics, let's say, and reconnect. So it's important, our vision, that we think that the horizontal collaboration between humanities, science, technology, and society, it's a key element to foresee, define, validate, and bring closer all this knowledge that now it's from the scientific and technological sector, impacting a lot in society and everywhere in our world. But with this mission of just really go back to work together horizontally. So science, technology, and arts and humanities, creativity together. That's why I don't like this idea of putting attention on the A. I am putting attention on the STEAM. I mean, as a whole, I think this is the much more important thing, because normally, Nagore told us that this bidirectionality for us, it's fundamental. Because normally, if not, it's something like the art trying to bring washing or help technology and science to good storytelling or whatever, or technology and science trying to help the artistic field in order to do fancy things. And I think that this is good, but not enough. Normally, the idea is how we really create this kind of holistic vision of everything together. So how can we impact technologists and scientists to do better work and vice versa? So this kind of connection and friction between the different worlds really makes the change. And this is important to understand how we can really connect those worlds together. I think that this sounds like a super fancy thing, super new, but it's not. I mean, this is the standard way of doing this innovation. Normally, innovation is just putting different knowledge together in order to create new things. And this is done during the whole history like this. I mean, I will not talk about Michelangelo ateliers because this is too much, let's say. But if you, for example, foresee the level of innovation related to the English coffees for the Industrial Revolution, you will see a strong correlance between the number of English coffees and the innovation. And this is because they just meet and talk together. People from humanities, engineers, industrial engineers, scientists, they just meet and talk together. And I am not talking about an artist give an idea to an industrial. It's not about that. It's because thanks to this kind of connection and sharing different knowledge, you got the idea. But this is how innovation happens, and this is how new ideas appears, just by bringing different people together. And this is, again, with the internet, for example, it was an explosion of innovation just because we put together many, many different people to talk at the same level. And this is how it works and how this should work. Why? Because there are many, many opportunities in the boundaries. Normally, there are different layers of innovations. As you know, let's say, level 1 is how you just improve what you are doing. If you are doing carton boxes during 20 years, you will do it better and better and better and better. This is the first level of innovation. You have to do that for sure. The second level of innovation is where you put different factors outside. But the third one is when you try to envision new futures. And to do so, you need to have a holistic vision of everything. So there is no way to do the third level of innovation alone. And this is again, done during the whole history of the world, but not in the last, let's say, 50 years, something like that. And then we have to, of course, specialization is mandatory in our 21st century. I am not talking against of that. I am talking about you need to go outside of your silo to see different things and then go back. For example, here in the foundation, we have worked a lot with neuroscientists, with oncologists, with computer vision people, with many, many, many different people. And we are not aiming to do neuroscience, but we are aiming to create new spurs of innovation, new paths, new ways for the neuroscientists, and also gather new knowledge in order to do a better work on our side. But this is the kind of connection. And we like to call it the boundary. And that's why this is important for us, the boundary of the STEAM, because science is super important, technology is super important, art is super important, mathematics is super important. But why don't we talk about the whole thing? And this is the boundary for us, because we are not doing science, we are not doing technology, we are not doing arts, we are just creating future. And this is something super important for our kids, because they need to understand. For example, there are many, many basic things, like in US, you go for a major in computer science and a minor on philosophy. Those that did the minor in philosophy, they are special computer scientists. And then you have different kind of profiles. And this is what I think that we need to go for that. There are many, many how to try to understand, and there is now super fancy to talk about this kind of VUCA environments. You will listen a lot about that. There is no way to anticipate a future in 10 years. The future now it's 3 months, but maybe if we work together, we are able to envision, let's say, at 5 years, and then just put the arrow in the good path. And this is only through cooperation and understanding, but this is not, again, trying to isolate. If we are talking, for example, here in Europe about technological sovereignty, and we are trying to develop a human-centered AI, there is no way. I'm a telecom engineer, and I am the general manager of the EPICA Foundation. If you give me the responsibility to talk about the ethical issue of AI, we are completely lost. We need to engage people who knows about this kind of knowledge together and discuss and agree, but with respect and with horizontal collaboration, not because I am telling them how to proceed, but not the other way around. And that's why, for example, now we have in Europe these kind of things. We are, for example, in my sector, I always talk with them. We always talk about how we will be impacted about AI, but we sometimes forget how we will impact AI development. If we are able to impact AI development, maybe we have a chance. And this is the kind of future we need to do in Europe. And that's why I think that Europe vision should be based on STEAM. Because of course, science is super important, technology is super important, but also the human center should come from the other sector. So, and I think that this is, of course, we can get creative and analytical. Why now we talk about our kids if they are creative or analytical? Why? Come on. They need to have the overall thing, at least to be able to discuss with the others, to understand the new context, to understand all this potential. And this is mandatory also for cities, because cities are done for citizens. And then we need to train cities and citizens together in all this kind of thing in order to work on that. So that's why I really like this vision, but I love this kind of putting, let's say, some discussion on avoiding talking about anymore about the art as a special thing. This should be a standard thing together with the others, like we have. So, and because this is the only way to create new paths, but also communicate new ideas to the society, to connect. But this is for free, let's say. The art has a powerful to connect with the society, of course. But this is not enough. And I like this one. Normally we have, this is with some, we have, let's say, and I close with that. We have science, that is knowledge, it's research. Then we have technology, that means new enablers, innovation. Then we have the art for disruption. But then we have society for context and meaning. But if we are able to do it together here in a STEAM based in Europe, we are able to do disruptive and responsible research and innovation, because we put together all the ingredients to do it together. So again, just I want to focus on this idea of avoiding to talk and go to basics. Let's say, just play together, understand and train our kids to understand the whole thing with all the other things. And I think that's it.
Okay.
I'm in 7
Yes,
minutes.
Fran, you are very lucky because our timer didn't work. So you had a little bit more time to do that. We tried to sort this out for the next speakers, basically because we are very tight in time and we need to manage time. It's very uncomfortable to have to do it personally, and we thought, okay, we'll have a timer that rings after when there's 30 seconds left. But we'll do it manually now, and it will work. I forgot, so thank you very much. It's been really, really, I have some insights from you on my notes. We'll go back to them later when we open the discussion to the participants. And I'm inviting everybody to put on the chat any questions and insights you have as you listen to the different speakers, because we'll have an open conversation with you all later after we listen to all of them. I don't know if we sorted out the technical problem with Joanna. Mike? We cannot hear you.
No, but a second ago we could hear her.
You could hear me.
Now, yes,
now it's fine.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. Hello. Okay,
Wonderful.
So welcome everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today with you. I'm very excited about the discussion. My name is Joanna, and I'm part of the team in our city, Płock, part of the museum team. And Carla, can we share my presentation? Is that possible?
Joanna, you can share it. I gave you permission, so it's easier for you to change the slides according to your need.
So let me check if it's working. Okay. Can you see the presentation right now?
No.
No, you cannot. You don't. So let me just check. Okay, so give me a second.
Yes, otherwise, if needed, we have the presentation and
so
we
if you can play it, it would be wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, I see it. Thank you.
That's fine.
There is no presentation on the screen still.
No? What can you see?
Your documents, Carla.
Our
Documents.
Okay, so let's see. Because I had it open, but let me try again.
Carla, you should just share your screen when the presentation is already on. Otherwise, it shows the normal screen.
Mas se fizer janela, devia aparecer, não é?
Monica, I can also start without the presentation. So, okay.
Can you see now?
Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, so today we're going to speak about the role of museums in STEAM education. And what is the question is that, is the museum space still inspiring? Is it the space that can be really, really exciting still? And can the museum objects still inspire us, teach us something about the world around us? So what we can see today is that the museums are changing constantly, and they are shifting from the places that they were like several years ago, where it was only the space where you could only admire objects and in silence, to the space where you can have fun, you can experiment, and you can experience something. So museums may serve as a dynamic environment where learning can become an active sensory experience. And they today they do more than present information. They help students to connect knowledge with their own identities and understand their place within the broader flow of history. And what is more, museums are uniquely positioned to reveal how art and science continually shape each other. It can be done by, of course, by designing exhibitions and education programs to highlight those connections. So the museums showing art can help audience understand, for example, that cultural movements like Art Nouveau, and I will speak about Art Nouveau today, is not an isolated phenomena, but responses to technological and scientific change. So museums are perceived today as places where young people may gain a knowledge that is often presented as theory in schools. However, museums should not be schools. On the contrary, we should celebrate that at the museum we are outside the school, so we are losing our previous school roles, and somehow we feel free, and we feel curious, and we can act without being judged or getting a grade. When it comes to STEAM education, a museum can offer exceptional potential. Their real artifacts and their access to specialists create amazing ground for curiosity and meaningful exploration. By developing hands-on activities, museums invite learners to take part in core STEAM practices, experimenting, designing, exploring problems, testing ideas, and communicating their thinking. And additionally, when museums are cooperating with schools, they can craft learning, so it can be in line with the needs of all participants. How it can be done? So museums may support STEAM education by designing multisensory and interactive experience. It can be done not only by creating museums that are full of multimedia, but we can see it today as museums that are, as I may say, analog museums without any multimedia. They are basing only on storytelling, and it also can be really, really inspiring. So it doesn't mean it has to be only technical thing. The museum may also support STEAM education by creating hands-on activities, so workshops and maker spaces. Museums may pair experts, so they can pair, for example, material scientists with contemporary designers. It can be also very, very, very exciting. And when I'm thinking about our museum, we have a huge potential in this respect. So our museum presents large collection, the biggest collection in our country of Art Nouveau objects. And as I am part of the education team, for us, it's a huge potential in the respect of STEAM education. So I will say a couple of words about Art Nouveau to show you this link between art and science. So Art Nouveau was amazing artistic movement that was dated late 19th and early 20th century, that was arising as a reaction to industrial mass production. So in other words, there would be no Art Nouveau without changes in the field of science and engineering. And 19th century gave us the world the revolution in the field of building materials, like mass and affordable production of steel or industrial glass. And 19th century gave us also the breakthroughs in the field of biology, like theory of evolution, development of microscope, and birth of microbiology, and inventions like trains, then cars and cinema. And all those novelties, they influenced also the world of art. And what is really amazing and interesting, in that moment of speed industrialization, the world of art, looking for inspiration, turned its face towards nature. So in our museum, you can see Art Nouveau objects from different countries. So the collection is really worth seeing. And as we are now still at the beginning with respect to STEAM education, we see that education in such a place should offer, among others, observation, experimentation, and exploration of materials. And instead of separating art gallery from science and technology gallery, it may integrate it. And so what we can do? We can, for example, create the possibility that young people may build their own repeating Art Nouveau patterns using digital tools. We can study plant morphology and then design decorative motifs. We can explore metallurgy and then create metal ornaments. And as Art Nouveau was deeply inspired by nature, we can learn about environmental science and build eco-inspired installations. And there is so much more that we can discuss, taking into consideration Art Nouveau collection. We can discuss what is happening today is the biomimicry that takes the inspiration from natural patterns to create new modern designs in our world. We can discuss sustainable design that was also important in Art Nouveau era. Taking into consideration the industrial access. So by doing so, museums can help visitors understand that cultural movements, they are not static styles, but they are living conversations between innovation and imagination. And this conversation is still important today. So as I see the slides, if you can, Carla, if you can go to the slide with the first
Joanna, we
slide
have to finish. Okay, the time is finishing.
Time is okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanna. Sorry for the abrupt cut. We are really late, so we need to go to the next speakers. Thank you very much, Joanna. That was really interesting. The new way and the new spaces that are museums is really inspiring to see that. And I had a question there for everyone. So the next speaker is Ana Pinto, who is going to introduce Ana. Carla or Daniela? Carla, we cannot hear you.
Yes. So hello. So Ana Pinto is a biomedical research that has been particularly working in oncobiology. So during her PhD, she developed a strong interest in the promotion of health education and science communication for the general public and in schools. And later, she has been working with our program, that is Tech Labs, working for our stakeholder Fábrica de Ciência Viva. So she has been experiencing how to coordinate this type of STEAM education projects in schools. Welcome, Ana.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you for the introduction. So I will start by telling you. You don't see the next slide. Okay. Now you see, right?
Yes, yes.
So what is health literacy? It is ability to access, to understand, to evaluate and use information to make healthy choices. So it's not only the ability to simply read what is written in a book. So you have the communication needs to be effective. People need to understand how they will make a good choice. For instance, you have to understand that there are smoking risks, and this will empower you when choosing healthier lifestyles. What happens when patients have low literacy levels? They are more likely to visit an emergency room, they have more hospital stays, they are less likely to follow treatment plans, and they have higher mortality rates. So just to give you an idea about health literacy levels in Europe, here you have a graph with the 10 European countries, and you can see there are some homogeneity among the first ones, but then you have, for instance, Netherlands. In Netherlands, about 30% of people have inadequate or problematic health literacy levels, which compared with Spain, you can see the numbers are very, very scaring. So you have about 60% double of people that have inadequate or problematic health literacy levels. In another study, you can check on your right that in other European countries supposedly have the higher health literacy levels across Europe. Okay, we can discuss during all the morning what are the different ways that we can improve health literacy levels, but I believe that talking about science is a good starting point. So in fact, if you put together health experts and the public, and you can interact these two targets, you can communicate health literacy. The problem many times is that health experts or healthcare professionals or researchers have a very specific language that you need to translate, you need to simplify so people can really understand what they mean. So in fact, if you provide knowledge to people, you'll get more trust on what you say, because it's scientific knowledge. There's scientific evidence, and this will make people make good health decisions. This will make, of course, healthy people and a healthy society. And you can set with two different targets. So the general public, but also the schools. If education starts very early, probably late, you will have healthy people. And of course, don't forget that at home, the children communicate with older people. So at the same time, you are educating not only the children, but also the adults. Okay, let me give you an example of a health literacy program that we did together with the Fabrica Science Center. So the program is called Let's Learn About Cancer. It's in the oncology field. As you know, cancer is a major health issue worldwide. I don't know if you have the idea, but about 50% of the cancers are indeed preventable. I think few of you know that. And in fact, we wanted to transmit all this information, but with scientific rigors to the people, okay? And for that, we established different collaborations, also with medical department of University of Aveiro, Portuguese Association Against Cancer, Portuguese Society of Health Literacy, and of course, we brought together renowned scientists like Professor Sobrinho Simões, that is one of the most medical pathology recognized worldwide. Okay, so we invited biomedical researchers to give lectures in high schools according to the courses that like genetics, metabolism, and so on, all related with cancer. We did activities with primary school kids, and here we gave a special emphasis to the A of the arts. So in all these sessions, as you can see here, they had the opportunity to express their feelings, their thoughts through drawing, okay? And we made an exhibition, a quite interesting exhibition with all these drawings, because in fact, you can know what they are thinking about this, and sometimes they have familiar situations, they share already some of these problems, but they do not talk about them, but they express these feelings in the drawings, okay? Then we did also a conversation series with different topics with several specialists, and we also designed, prepared, evaluated 2 different exhibitions, always with scientific rigor behind, okay? Here you have the 4 topics of this exhibition. It is divided in 4 panels, and the questions that were guiding each of these panels were questions that you can make every day. What is cancer? How is it distributed worldwide? Did you know that animals also have cancer? So it was an easy way to communicate with people. And of course we had technology. Why? Because we brought the microscope. Because we brought the microscopes, we brought the magnifying glasses, we had videos, we had animations, okay? So we tried to motivate people when seeing this exhibition. And of course, as a complement, and during the European Research Night, that you probably know, and it's a place, and it's an event that is organized by Fabrica Science Center every year in Aveiro. So we had this team-based activity together just near the exhibition. And we had 2 different levels, a basic one and a more advanced one. And in the basic one, so we used, in both of them, we used the robot, the Ozobot. Ozobot is an equipment that is available in all of our schools in Aveiro, okay? So with the Ozobot, they had to recognize healthy and unhealthy habits. They have to program the robot to express a good feeling by a good color, let's say green, or let's say the robot could be dancing. They had to program an expression, let's say. So here again, the A of arts, they have to express, they have to program their expression, or in the other way, if the habit was an unhealthy habit, like smoking, as you can see here, they had to program in the opposite way. And the other game was to understand tobacco production. This was for them to understand that in fact tobacco has a lot of toxic substances and also carcinogenic ones. Okay, so this was a very interactive way, not only for the kids, but as you see, the adult was also very interesting to know more about this. Okay, and finally, it's the last slide. Okay, it's about it's about artistic STEAM residence, and here it's a program that Aveiro municipality has. So it invites artists for 1 year project in schools. There's an application, and here we also had a project about skin cancer. Can we talk about skin cancer through art? Yes, we can. So if you are interested in this project, it's not yet financed. You can talk with me, no problem. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Anna. That was really interesting with very, very clear examples. So really, really interesting. We go now to our next speaker. We'll talk about all that later with all of you. We have Lars Tirsbeck with us. And
yes.
Leonard is going to introduce you, Lars. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Monica. Hi, Lars. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. Lars Tirsbeck is Head of Studies at Sonic College at University College of Southern Denmark, a quite unique sound design education, the only one in Denmark, and quite popular in Europe. And also he has just hosted the Sonic Days, a conference on sound design and sound engineering with several hundred. You could maybe present that shortly, Lars, afterwards. I think you had 700 participants for large parts of the world for a few days in Kolding just 2 weeks ago. The sound design program is exploring the creativity and technology and human experience in sound design. And Lars and his colleagues are focusing on how you can create creative exploration in sound design and create real-world value for companies and other artistic projects like movies and advertising and ambient installations. And has a huge collaboration with industry partners, that is companies producing sound equipment and also other sound engineers. And also work a lot with cultural institutions, just as you recently had a collaboration among your students and now a Museum of Modern Art in Kolding called Tapholt. Just really interesting and special education right here in Kolding, and very much ambassador for the A in the STEAM, that is how to make a human-centered design. So thank you for joining us, Lars.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Can you see my screen now? Also in presentation view?
Yes.
Yes. Perfect. Yes, great. Thank you for the invitation to speak. I will talk a little bit about how we look at the A in STEAM at Sonic College in Denmark. And Leonard already introduced me, so I'll go quick through this. I'm Head of Studies at Sonic College in Denmark. I work with audio in a lot of different ways, from immersive experiences to music production, sound for film and TV, sound for museums, and sound in general. A little bit about the program. At Sonic College, we are educating sound designers for film, TV, broadcast, and streaming, podcasting, game audio, sound art, interactive design, and music production. So a pretty broad perspective on sound, as you can see. We might be the biggest sound design program in Northern Europe, if not in Europe in general. We have 45 seats per year, which means that we have about 160 active students at the time. For a sound design program, that's quite a lot. We have 150 applicants for those positions, and it's a free year and a free months program. we strive to be on the forefront with technology, so there's a lot of technology in this, but we are also trying to combine art, creativity, design, engineering, and technology and research all in all. So it's not a traditional university degree. It's more applied science degree where our students work in the field of art, sound, and engineering.
Excuse me, Lars. I don't know if you're supposed to change the slides. We're still looking at the art as doorway slides.
Okay, I'm supposed to do that. Can you see this slide now?
Yeah, no,
okay.
Yes.
Then I will just try to do it like this. So the core idea here is that for us, when we at Sonic College talk about the A in STEAM, one of the most powerful ideas is that art works as the doorway, basically. Let's see. Yeah. Art appeals to the body, to the senses, to our curiosity in general. And this means that our students meet science, technology, and engineering and math in a way that doesn't require a lot of prior knowledge, but more like an experience about it. So before they can code a sound system in a game, they can experience it, and they can feel that sound. And that's what art adds to this, basically. Before they can fully understand the technical tool, they can experiment with it. So that's what art do for us. And in my perspective, this is what makes art one of the most inclusive entry points into this field of STEAM, basically. Yeah. Then aesthetics experiences do something essential to us. They motivate us. So we learn better when we are emotionally engaged into this field. So sound, color, spaces, narratives, they are all gateways into learning and understanding. And this is why A is not just a decoration or something. For us, it's the main driver in our learning path, basically. And then there's design. We do a lot of design, and it's a design program we run here. So for us, art alone is not enough. We try to combine these artistic things with design thinking. And then something important happens, because then design is ending up being the bridge. Because design thinking gives us this structure and iterations and problem framing, and it also put some perspective of value creation. Because for us, that's really important. This is where the art also gets this sort of usefulness, where creative explorations become real-world relevance, and when we combine these two things, the A in STEAM becomes something that you can take action on, and it's not just an abstract thing. So you can create some value with the art for people. And then there is all this creativity and engineering. When we combine these things, students can be both creators and artists and problem solvers out in the real world. And then technology becomes this opportunity to express yourself through technology, through engineering. And that's really important for us. And with art being a part of this program, technology stops being a barrier and becomes more like an opportunity for creativity. So, yeah, maybe the most important point in this, STEAM is not just a cross-disciplinary model, basically. It's a way of developing people. It's a way of creating meaningful professional work lives. Art brings in the imagination and the sensory awareness. Design brings in the method and the direction. And then science, technology, math, and engineering brings in the power to realize these creative ideas. And together, they all in all help people to navigate in complexity, create value and shape a future work life that are truly meaningful. I guess, yeah, that was it basically. So thank you for your time. I hope I managed to keep within the time. If you want to learn more about Sonic College, there's a QR code here, and it's also a URL. And please connect on LinkedIn and other platforms. I'm open to answer questions and all, yeah, about everything basically. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lars.
Thank you very much, Lars. So,
Amazing.
and thank you, Leonard, for the introduction. Leonard is the representative of one of our partners in Future STEAM Cities in Calling. And now we're going to move to the
Nelson.
last speaker. Yes, Carla, you introduced him, right?
Yes, so Nelson Gomes is the founder of a European network of STEAM educators, the EASE. He's coordinator the organization of some European summit related to STEAM educators that has more than 3,000 participants all over the world. And it has also been working as educational teacher in higher school, and holds also a significant leadership experience in community organizations, both in local as global exco. So I give you the stage, Nelson.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you are able to listen to me, right?
Yes.
Okay, fortunately. First of all, thank you for having me and for this invitation to show and to speak a little bit about the EASE network. That is really a global network that connects not only educators, STEAM educators, but also STEAM organizations. We have more than 100 individual members in our network, but we have also around 20 organizations like universities, makerspaces, museums. We have this mission of connecting STEAM educational agents and to build things following this constructionist approach based on Seymour Papert's pedagogical approaches. I can just share the URL of our network. Our role is really to produce resources to help STEAM educators from all around the world. Like was said, we previously have developed 4 editions of the European Summit of STEAM Educators. The last edition in last September enabled us to bring together more than 1,200 people in a very rich and a very good learning opportunity, inspiring one in the beginning of the school year, and showing the work of more than 40 speakers from all over the world, not only from Europe. And who are these STEAM educators? Well, in this last edition of the summit, we were able also to produce this collective declaration that this is a kind of identification idea. It's a document that it is a statement from this figure of the European STEAM educator, but also shows our commitments, our values, and naturally our mission. I'm just sharing also this URL of this collective declaration. It was a document produced by a group of STEAM educators representing all the speakers of the event. But going specifically to the power of arts in STEAM, that is the subject that brings us into this meeting, I will try to share my screen and this presentation. I'm asking you if you are able to see my screen. Okay,
yes.
Great.
Yes.
And for this network, for this movement, the A is very significant. It's very important. And we are looking at it as giving power to this STEAM. You know, STEAM is this concept related with the Industrial Revolution, but it's also this acronym of science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And arts also brings power and many other things like innovation, like equity, and naturally deeper learning, our big goal. Well, was able to participate in this Science for Policy brief through an invitation by the DG EAC from the European Commission. That is this kind of group that works with the educational policies, but also youth policies and cultural policies. And they invited us to give this kind of perspective about the concept of STEM. But initially, the draft was bringing this title proposal of STEM without the A, and STEM education approaches, a guide to informed policy action. So this was a contribution really with the goal to influence, to give this contribution to the definition of some educational policies. And we were advocating for the integration of the A into the STEM acronym. And the final the final version of the text changed all the approach, and also the title was changed into the STEM and STEAM education, integrating these two perspectives. Usually STEM more related with the traditional school approaches, but STEM bringing also together all the community educational activities in the scope of non-formal education that needs to be connected also, the school and the community, really to build innovative and interesting activities for not only the young students, but to the whole community, even adults. But the final title that we got was really STEM and STEAM education and disciplinary integration, a guide to informed policy action. So we are really advocating for the A of arts in this STEAM acronym. So we think also that the inclusion of the A makes it possible to integrate all dimensions of design, as well as a more humanistic, a more social perhaps, but also a creative approach into these disciplinary dimensions. And like other colleagues said, in a holistic perspective. So, and for us, the arts are really more than just painting. In our perspective, the A in STEAM encompasses a broad spectrum of disciplines, moving from beyond traditional visual arts. Naturally, we have graphic design, we have photography, we have sculpture, and many other approaches, but we have language also. We have creative writing, storytelling, and communication approaches. We have performing arts like music or theater and dance. We have also media arts like film, animation, digital media, and audio production like we heard about. And also design, architecture, industrial design. We can think in this everyday activity of robotics like something that needs to be developed in the electronic way, in the coding way, but also in the design perspective. We need to build, to decide about the colors, about the shapes, about the mechanical properties of the design. Design is also functionality in our perspective. And we are talking about creativity and innovation. These competences are so needed nowadays because we are facing a so rapid, so quickly change in our society, in our world, also due to technological developments. And in education, sometimes we think, for what is the goal of education nowadays? What will be the jobs of the future when the future is so close to us? And the future has this uncertainty, as something that we don't know how it will be like. But creativity and innovation will be, in my opinion, competences that will be extremely significant as the access to knowledge changes, especially
Nelson,
due to
we have to
the
wrap it
AI.
up.
Okay, I will
Yes, let's wrap
be
it up. Thank you.
much more quickly. But just talking about something that we need to talk nowadays, that is AI. And AI is changing everything. It's changing jobs. It is changing the labor market. So it is also changing education and the competences that we need to simulate in our students. But creativity and innovation are the driving force and a factor of global competitiveness. We can think about Europe and about other blocks like North America or Asia, China, perhaps, and we can think that we need to be competitive, like Mario Draghi issued in his last report last year. So critical thinking and problem solving are key competences nowadays, and arts allow us to have this kind of thought, this kind of approach. Moving forward, being
Nelson.
quickly, almost ending.
Yeah, we
20
will
seconds. Can
develop.
I just to sum up this?
Yeah.
Okay, we defend creativity and imagination. We also want to promote collaboration, naturally, working together in a collaborative way, design thinking, communication, flexibility, and empathy. So some of those are also social competences. And closing, you can then give a closer look into this presentation, but also we want to promote STEAM careers. It will be
Thank
significant
you.
to the future.
Thank you,
Okay.
Nelson. We will now have the chance to put some questions to introduce to the speakers. So we have here the chat where people can put some questions. Well, thank you for these inspirational talks. I have lots of questions, and these webinars works in this way because the main objective is to receive new information and start having more doubts about the STEAM approach and how it can be very helpful to develop a society and territory. So I will please everyone, if you want to put some questions in the chat, and we will start the debate surrounding these areas. So I can start putting some questions. I will put it for speakers, but of course everyone can answer and give us their insight about this theme. So, Joanna, how might the museums can help communities to see the A in STEAM not just as art, but also as a cultural context and identity? How can the A be like a flag where we can, of course, learn about society and history, but having the component of the A of arts?
So I will give you the example of very nice institution that I met in Estonia, in Tallinn. It's a very small museum. It's called Kaia Maja, and they have only objects that are coming from the community, from the society. They do amazing things. They just meet and they make exhibitions together. So they are speaking about art, about the history of art, about the history of the specific city in Estonia together. So they are bringing children, but also adults. It's like for entire city. And this is something that is really, really eye-opening way of making this kind of institution. They do not have like the special objects. They are basic. They are making a base on the basis of things that people bring to their institution, and then they just speak about it. They make education. They make workshop on the basis of things that are important for the community at a certain point of time. It's really amazing.
Thank you. So also when Franz spoke, he mentioned if we bring together several people, that's the way innovation starts. But how can we scale these artistic methodologies so it can become integral to the research and innovation ecosystem? But rather than be just occasional collaborations and Etica Foundation has this methodology in their work plan, but how can we put the other institution and ecosystems to use this and scale this artistic methodology?
I think this is for me, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's always based on the knowledge balance. So always that you start a collaboration, it should be, even we are a non-profit foundation, we always think on the profit. So once you put on the common way of working, this kind of collaboration, everybody understands that this is profitable. But this is quite important to put this kind of knowledge balance between the culture. So we need to be proud of what we can add to the table and commit with value. And then scientists, tech people understand that we need to have a strategic play role, defining this kind of futures, use cases, connecting with society, but creating also new visions of what we are doing. So this is quite important. It's not easy. And at the beginning, you need to start with people like you, those people that already know. But of course, we need to try to gather the value that we can commit to the table. This is quite important. Normally, the art sector to do that. Honestly, I don't know why they don't want to, because I'm quite sure that they put a lot of value in the process, not at the end. As Nelson was saying, it's not about drawing, it's much more. But yes, normally in the art, we put only the attention at the end of the process. And this is a problem. We need to take into consideration the whole process. So the kind of impact we are creating on the scientists, on technologies, on society, the overall thing, not the final art piece, but the strategic creation of new paths and impact on the value chain. And once you let them understand that we create value, easy to sell. The problem, we need to put the attention on how to figure out the proper values that we offer, because normally we count the number of visitors to our museum, but it's not the value, it's the kind of impact we do in those visitors, the kind of new visions that we create. And when you put everything together, you can compete proud of that with the others. And this is how it works forever. So this is the kind of thing we need to, but also it's important because normally we have this problem in our sector. We need to be able to create the whole package and put attention. I'm not talking about modifying what we do. I am talking on putting attention on all that we do. And then the result is much more powerful. For example, I will give you an example. We were part of a START program. it was amazing. We could collaborate with 2 super computing centers in Barcelona and in Germany with 10 artists. As you know, the funnel of innovation, there were really good ones, good ideas, super ideas, and ideas that you discard at the end, but okay, because this is innovation, how the funnel of innovation works. But the thing is that at the very end of the project, we did a festival. The festival technically and artistically was perfect, but it was not enough. Because let's say that it was a really expensive festival. But when we were able to create the whole knowledge, the new research lines, the impact on the scientists, on the tech, and everything together in a full package, it was a really interesting investment, not an expensive festival. But if we only take into consideration that it was a festival for 1,000 people, it was expensive. But it was not only. And this is something that we need to have in mind always. So, and try to consider the whole thing. I always tell the same for each Nobel Prize in physics. There are a bunch of good physics people investing and creating knowledge. And at the end, the very last one just reached to the point. And this is something that we need to also contribute for our sector. So try to create that. And once you put the full package, everybody understands that we need to be there. So that's why I always push us in order to be able to create the proper selling point. And it's not only a draw in our wall, it's much more. And this is the important thing, how to create these visions. And of course, it's not easy to start, but once you start, things appear. And of course, this is a completely societal change driver, that this is super important. We were talking about AI. We are imagining how AI will change the work, the labor, the education, and everything. It cannot be done, even if it cannot be only even conceived without us. Of course, not only us. No. I'm talking that should be everybody together trying to understand how this will impact the future. This is super important. But we need to be able to be there with strong and with commitment.
No, I think that some of the highlights that we talk about, the speakers shared, was that predicting the future is increasingly difficult, and how innovation, this type of approach, can be helpful to develop and innovate and to respond to the challenges of today. So we of course have to be willing to learn and to try new methodology in the way to respond to those traditional needs that we have. It's been amazing. So related to Anna, I don't know if anyone has questions. So Anna, one of the questions that I wrote was, well, of course, that we saw the understanding of the STEAM to understand some subjects, but how do creative and hands-on STEAM activities can influence people's understanding about health or well-being, but compare it with the traditional science education, for instance?
Well, first of all, let me share with you that I believe that creativity is not only important for our students, but mainly for the facilitators or the teachers, because in the traditional model, so the teachers do not need to be so creative to transmit all the knowledge, because it is in the book, because it is in the presentation. With this STEAM approach, we need to be more creative. We need to create different contents to pass the information that we need. And yes, I think at the same time, they are looking at, the students are looking at the reality with different vision, because they are facing the problems, the real problems, and they are finding solutions for them. So I think it's another way, alternative way for them to understand that it's important to pay attention to health issues as well.
Very amazing. And now related to the sound engineering. So the sound is very both physical, but also very emotional. So how can we use this duality to help students to grasp more complex scientific concepts more intuitively? So how they learn math, but by doing sound.
I guess that's for me.
Yes, Lars.
Yes, it's a good question. And when we see our new students coming in, most of them come in with a background of wanting to work with music, basically. That's the way they get the interest into sound. Some of them come with other perspectives, but a lot of them come in with the need of learning how to do sound engineering to be creating their own music, basically. Then along the way, when they learn what sound can do in general, we open up basically their mindsets and they see, okay, I can also use sound for all these different kind of things. It's not only music. It's also for creating atmospheres in gaming and in film and TV, shaping emotions, creating a narrative. So sound can do that much more than they actually know when they start out. But through the learning process, they learn and also shape their imagination, basically. So I guess when they start, we'll ask them, what do you want to be when you end out here? And they say music producers, 80% or so. And at the end of that, they end up doing so many different things with sound, also on the more, interface sounds and all different product sounds and sonic branding. And there's so much to do with sound where you can go out and use your skill set as a sound professional to create value. And then again, still bring in your own artistic, creative mindset to that processes. Which create meaning and a meaningful work life, basically, because they want to be artists at the end of the day, but to create a work life where they can feel like creators that are creating something that they are put their personality into, but still create something where they create value for someone with the output. That's basically the thing that we try to teach them through the program, basically. So I hope that was a okay answer to the question.
Do you think they are more inspirational using this type of methodology? So they embrace this traditional learning and act more interesting?
I guess, as I said, the interest that they all have, they come in being inspired and interested into all this, wanting to learn the skill set, and that acts as a door opener to learning technology, engineering, science, math, all these things, because throughout the way, they see that they need to learn this to be able to perform their art. So that it's a part of the skill set. And we also talk a lot with them about it's just a toolbox. Yes. And basically it's a hammer. We are learning you how to use a hammer, and we don't need to tell you what hammer you need to use. You need to learn to use a hammer to put down the nails, and then how you use it and what you do with the hammer, we basically don't care, but there is a skill set that you need to learn, and then you can be creative with that. So if you want to put it the other way around, to put down the nails that way because there is something inspiring in that process, then please do it. Experiment, yes. Break the rules and all this. But there is some skills, there is some knowledge that they need to have, and the art is the door opener for us because they all want to be artists and be creative, and that's what motivates them.
Yeah. So, and related to the education, even more formal or non-formal. So, and of course, this is for all the speakers, but to Nelson in particular, because he's related to education. So what do you think could be these strategies that can educators use to ensure that the A of STEAM is not just an optional head-on, but a core driver of engagement with their students?
Well, in my perspective, when we develop this kind of experimental activities, we are using our hands, we are using our brain, we are using our senses in this multisensorial approach to knowledge. So, and when we are building, and build is a very significant word here, when we are building a project, also talking about project-based learning, we are working with art. When we are building music in a screen, this is an approach to use our knowledge also to build art. But when we are building a robot or making some kind of approaches with wood, with laser cutting or laser engraving, when we are working with 3D printing, these are, I will say, not new. Nowadays, they are not new educational approaches, but these are multisensorial approaches that involve a lot of the students or the adults, because these are productive processes. And we need to, even if we are building artistic outputs like some painting or some music or some video or some photography, or even if we are building something that works, that is electronical, that has wheels and is inducted by our smartphone and some buttons that we draw with in an app that we could have built, all this is full of art. Because like I was saying, we are constantly thinking about shape, about colors, about how will be this element look like. So if we are building as educators, if we need to be transforming ideas into things, and this can be so many different things, digital things, but also organical things, art is in all the process, I think. So even creativity and think about new things, creativity and innovation. And we are in a world that is constantly innovating. We are doing art because creating something is really related and deeply connected with the artistical approach. So even if we are engineers, we are doing mechanics or electronics, and we are building, we are creating something new, we are doing art also, in my opinion. That's my perspective.
Yeah, thank you. So now to all the speakers, and also during this webinar, we were talking about the E from emotions, how do connect these type of emotions and also related to STEAM. So how can we balance the possibilities of IA with the need for human imagination, empathy, and critical STEAM in critical thinking in STEAM? So how do we humanize these amazing possibilities that IA is bringing to us? Yeah, Nelson, go ahead.
Well, emotions are also in education extremely relevant, because there is one thing that is a key factor in education, in my opinion, that is motivation. And we are motivated by things that that emotionally connect with us, with who we are, with our profile, and with things that we like to do. So emotion is really something significant and something very social also, because at the end of it, especially in my personal perspective, I look at all this technology, all this STEAM having has a final goal, as the most important thing of it is the individual or social factors. The most important in STEAM are the people, in my perspective. But motivation is extremely relevant also to have knowledge, keeping the knowledge in the brain of our students, but they will remember things that motivate them most, but also things where they invest the greatest amount of their senses, like their vision, like their hands, like their touch, like their hearing. So in my opinion, emotion is a key factor to motivation, and motivation is really fundamental to retain knowledge and to learn.
Yes, it's true. Franz, share your thoughts.
I think that I will avoid the part of the art, because I think that all the audience here will assume that why it's important. But I am a bit more pragmatical, as you know. I think that it's because it's the only chance for Europe to compete with the others. So technologically we are a bit late, and the only Europe is unique because of our culture. Then if we want to compete with China or US, we need to establish something that makes us unique. And I think that's the culture. I mean, by putting together our tech power, scientific power, plus our culture, that it's quite unique, may give us a chance. But if we are competing in a human-centered AI without the culture, no way. Because we will competing with a framework with others that has no framework. So then we need to understand the balance between framework, legislation, and innovation, of course, but putting the value in something different. Because if we try to or aim to compete in making money, I mean, with everything works for everything it's fine if it can make you make money, then we are out of the game with the US. If it's for control, it's China. We are in the middle, so we need to figure out how to do it. And I think it's our only chance, and this is something that we need to keep pushing this message, because I really think that this is the only chance to really create and keep our values, because we have the good luck that we are in Europe. So let's try to do it seriously, because if not, we will be always marginal. And I think it's quite important to understand for the cities, to understand for the systems, to understand for the stakeholders, for everybody, that maybe, I'm not sure, of course, I would love to know the future, but I think this is a good bet and maybe one of the better options that we have. So why not? Because in any case, we will do our kids better people with critical thinking, with potential to understand what are the challenges, the risks, and everything. So this is super important, of course, socially, but also practically, because it's our only chance. So I think it's important to keep this kind of role, but in a proper balance. Again, horizontal. So we cannot say that we will lead the future. This is false, but we need to be relevant. Because if we are not relevant, it's super dangerous for Europe. And I think this is super important. If we create the AI without us, it's a potential disaster for both, for the art sector, because we may be irrelevant, and this is super dangerous, but also for the system, because we will be competing without spirit and soul in a super, let's say, crazy world. So we need to establish our values and our things. I'm sorry for the long answer.
Anna, can you share your thoughts?
Yes, so AI has been quite discussed here at our university, and the focus has been more in using it than not using it at all. Okay, and the focus has been on the side of the correct interpretation of AI. So in the case and specifically about health literacy, sorry, but I'll talk specifically, my example will be about it. Imagine a campaign in schools. We want to make a campaign about sexually transmitted infections, okay? And we ask AI to design an image for the campaign, okay? But should we trust it? Should we trust it in every image that came from the AI? No. So we need to make students to interpret the image correctly, because most of the times there are significant errors, and we can learn with those errors. We can discuss with them about these errors. So for them to recognize the errors, they need first to know the scientific content, to know what is right and where is not. And we can also discuss the design and the art and how would you do it better in another way. So you create discussion from a different point of view. That was my example. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Ana. That is very true. How can we teach? The idea is not use, but how can we teach our students and also citizens to recognize and have the critical mindset to not just assume the things they are, but to reflect on them. That's why we also develop and innovate when we try to question things. So thank you all for having these amazing talks. I will now pass to Monica in order for us to have here a share table of what we have been learning, trying to resume it, some of the insights that we had.
So I have a big challenge now, because you cannot imagine how full my piece of paper is of insights, ideas, really inspirational insights from all of you and from the questions we had from everybody. So I'll do my best to cover all that as a summary of what I think, or at least I learned today. So the first thing that I think is really important is that the theme we ran through all your contributions is that the A in STEAM carries many meanings. We saw that with all of you. Art, imagination, creativity, human experience, emotions, and each one plays a vital role in how people learn, connect, and innovate. We heard how museums can help us to understand technological change through culture and storytelling. Museums are different today, places where people experience at active sensor experiences, and they should not be schools anymore. So my question there is this a trend? Hopefully it's not just a few museums, but it's a trend, and not only for museums either, but for other organizations. They show how art and science shape each other, which I like that quote from Joanna. We saw how artistic methodologies in the creative industries open new pathways for experimentation and collaboration, different levels of innovations, as Fran was taking us through all these different levels. So the specialization is important, but it's only one of the levels. Sharing knowledge from all disciplines is important, is how innovation happens and how ideas come up. And it has been like that always in history. So it's just learning from the past. In the past was clearer. I love the example about the cafes. I don't know if in the UK would be cafes or pubs, probably pubs. But the statistics about the number of pubs in times where innovation was really high. This is an evidence of where things happen. We explored how emotion sits at the heart of creative experimentation, shaping how people collaborate, take risks, and make meaning. a powerful reminder that learning is not only cognitive, but deeply emotional. The art sector adds a great value in shaping our future. We talked a lot about value as well. Value creation goes long beyond profit and is something we build collectively. And culture is, for us Europeans, where innovation needs to be, or culture is an element we need to keep. And it has to be at the center of AI, which is what everybody's now looking at using, and it's in massively in our lives. Holistic approach is needed to understand our world and putting attention in the STEAM as a whole, not just on the AI. We also learned that early hands-on STEAM experiences can strengthen children's curiosity, health literacy, and well-being. The example that Anna shared with us, Let's Learn About Cancer, or the robots games showcased how this happens, how kids and adults express emotion through creativity, through science. Also, we learned through sound designs. We explore how art and engineering come together to shape how we perceive and make sense of the world. Art as the doorway, Lars said to us. Design thinking giving the structure we need to bridge to value creation, and in the end to problem solving. So that was a nice process and path he described. How these doorway, art and creativity doorway, take us to experience curiosity and then to access to science. And we heard how integrating art into learning can boost motivation, strengthen engagement, and help students build confidence across maths, engineering, and science. Thanks to Nelson, talked a lot about that, reminding us that creativity is a key pathway into STEAM, not a distraction from it. STEAM is not only in education, it's in other organizations as well that want to innovate. So across all these perspectives, one message stood out: creativity and emotion are not optional extras. We need to take them with us. They are catalysts, helping learners engage with complex ideas, build confidence, and find new ways into science and technology. And your reflections of everybody today here echoed that the eye invites us to imagine differently, to work across boundaries, and to rethink what learning ecosystems can look like in our cities, and innovation can look like in our cities. So thank you very much for your insights and questions. They're going to help us to shape our next steps in future STEAM cities in our project, and hopefully you follow our next steps in the last year of the project. Thank you very much. Really grateful.
Thank you very much.
Carla, we cannot hear you, sorry.
Sorry, I thought that I was turning on. So thank you very much all. We will end this webinar and close it with the final questions to all, even the speakers. That is, what are you taking with you today after this webinar? We will give you a moment.
Can I start with that?
Anna, yeah, Anna, you should put the QR code.
Daniel, we're going to say something.
No, I think that the most important thing today is to see.
Everyone see?
No, it says let's vote.
I think it's super important to see that there are many people in this crazy idea. So for me, this is the best thing that I get from today. Because I always say that we are a bunch of crazy people, and it's nice to see that this bunch is getting bigger.
You
Yeah,
thought you
we're
were
crazy.
alone. You are not alone.
Yes.
So thank you, team.
Yes.
Is it available now?
Yes,
everyone?
Anna, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, we can see that the idea is to have new insights and knowledge. Yeah. Also big motivation. As Fran mentioned, we are like among our peers. That's why we feel so embraced to discuss this topic. And I think it's amazing to the future of education and the use of STEAM methodology in the work balance, even through our lives, that we have been discussing this type of things, like critical thinking, the positivity, even to start doing something that is the skill that most of the students nowadays, or some people, don't have the initiative or the spirit to do things. So it's being amazing. Creativity, emotions. Yes, we have lots of motivation to go on. So we will have our last webinar in April, and you are also invited to join us. Of course, we will disseminate it among you. And since we all work in this field, that will be amazing to count on with your participation.
Do we have the topic, Carla?
The topic is similar, and with this, that was creativity. But since we work on DA, let's see, we need to change it. Maybe to discuss this new software and digital challenges that we confront today.
You can give us ideas as well if you have. The other thing we were talking about
Like
was attracting talent,
Yes.
house cities and STEAM cities. What does it mean? So there are some ideas we have there we
Yeah.
could cover in our next webinar. So we are open to yours if you want to
Yes.
share any.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
So we finished. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Yes,
everyone.
thank you all.
Bye-bye.
It's been lovely.
We
Have a
will
great
share
day.
the presentations.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you all.